They lowered Mom into the ground on a Wednesday. The wind was cold enough to bite, blowing my hair into my mouth as I tried not to cry in front of the small crowd. Dad didn't hold my hand. He just stood there, hands in his pockets, eyes somewhere far away, as people murmured empty comforts. "Daddy," I whispered. He didn't hear me, or he didn't want to. When we got home, the house smelled wrong, like stale air and funeral lilies wilting in vases. I kept glancing at the kitchen, waiting for Mom to step out, wiping flour from her hands, smiling with tired eyes, saying, "We'll be okay, baby." She didn't. That night, Dad went into his room and closed the door. I stood outside, clutching my stuffed rabbit, waiting for the knob to turn. It didn't. I found Mom's sweater in the laundry basket, pulled it over my dress, and went upstairs, curled up under the attic window where I could see the stars, breathing in the scent of her, whispering into the dark sky, "Are you up there now, in heaven?" Dad remarried within the year. Her name was Stephanie, and she wore perfume so strong it made my eyes water. She brought Claire, her daughter, a year younger than me, with curls that bounced and a voice that dripped sweetness when adults were around. I thought maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Maybe I'd have a sister who would play dolls with me, and Stephanie might brush my hair or hug me goodnight. Instead, Claire got my room, my old room, which soon had a pink princess theme with a canopy bed and shelves stuffed with toys. I got the attic, a cold corner under the slanted roof, with a thin mattress and Mom's quilt, a tiny dresser and banged-up nightstand from a neighbor's garage sale. Stephanie would ask, "Claire, sweetheart, what do you want for breakfast?" And Claire would get pancakes shaped like hearts. I'd get a cold piece of toast if I was lucky. Dad would smile at Claire's jokes, ruffling her curls while I stood in the doorway, invisible. I was 9 the first time Stephanie got physical with me. I had accidentally spilled juice on Claire's doll, the orange liquid spreading across its pretty pink dress. "I'm sorry," I said, voice trembling as I tried to wipe it with my sleeve. Stephanie's eyes snapped to me. She grabbed my wrist so hard I thought it would break, her nails digging in, her face twisting into something cold. "Do you know how expensive this was?" she hissed. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." Her fingers dug deeper. I bit my lip hard, trying not to cry, not to give her the satisfaction. When she finally let go, purple fingerprints were blooming across my wrist, bordered by deep indentations from her nails. I pulled my sleeve down quickly as Dad walked in, hoping he'd notice, hoping he'd ask what happened and if I was okay. He didn't even look. In 7th grade, I won 2nd place in the poetry contest at school. I wrote about Mom and the stars, how I missed her, how I hoped she was up there among them and could still see me. I ran home clutching the certificate, heart pounding, hoping Dad would put it on the fridge, maybe hug me. I waited impatiently for him to get home from work, excited to show him. The moment he came through the door, I said, "Daddy, look," holding the certificate out to him. He barely glanced up as Claire came running for a hug, him tousling her hair as he usually did. "That's nice, Eliza," he muttered, putting down his briefcase, tired and disinterested. Claire smiled at me like she knew she'd won again. I stood there, the certificate trembling in my hand, the words, "That's nice," echoing like a slap as he walked past. That night I pressed it against my chest under Mom's quilt, trying not to cry. At 15, Dad told me I needed to start paying rent. "You're living here, you need to learn responsibility," he explained. So I got a job at the diner, wiping sticky syrup off tables, scrubbing plates until my hands cracked, coming home with grease from the fryer clinging to my hair. Every week I handed over my pay in an envelope, hoping Dad would say thank you. Instead, Claire would walk around in new shoes, bracelets jingling, her hair done at salons. "Daddy used your rent money to buy me this," she taunted, spinning in front of me, a smirk curling her lips. I wanted to scream. Instead, I went back to the attic, wiping tears with the inside of my sleeve. When I turned 16, Aunt Marianne, Mom's sister, moved back to town from across the country. She had visited before, but not in a long while. She had the same kind eyes as Mom, the same soft voice. She saw the shadows under my eyes, the quiet way I moved, how I flinched when Dad raised his voice for any reason. "Eliza," she said, "why don't you come stay with me?" I looked at Dad, hoping he'd say no, that he needed me here. "If she wants to," he shrugged, not even looking up from his phone. That was the day something cracked inside me. I packed one duffel bag, Mom's quilt, and my poetry certificate. That was all I took. At Marianne's house, it was quiet. There was tea after school, a warm bed, and soft music playing while I did my homework. Sometimes I'd still wait by the window, hoping Dad might come for me. He never did. Claire didn't like that I no longer paid rent, or that in my life at Marianne's I was bordering on actually being happy. She told everyone at school that I stole, that I ran away because I was a thief, that I had stolen her things when I moved out. I guess no longer contributing to the Claire Fund out of my diner wages felt like stealing to her. I think she was bored at home without me to be nasty to. She wanted things back the way they used to be. Dad and Stephanie called CPS, saying I was neglected at Marianne's, trying to drag me back to their house. When the CPS worker came to Marianne's door, I thought I would faint, the fear curling up in my stomach. But instead, in the end, we ended up in court, in a custody hearing. Dad sitting there but refusing to look at me. "I want to stay with Aunt Marianne," I told the judge, my voice quiet but clear. I saw Dad's jaw clench, Stephanie's face tighten. The judge nodded. "She's old enough to decide." Dad still wouldn't look at me. Claire saw me outside the school one afternoon a few weeks after the court date. "You think you're better than me now?" she spat, stepping into my path. I tried to walk around her, but she grabbed my hair and yanked, pulling me down, her nails raking across my cheek. "You ruined everything!" she screamed, hitting me, pulling my hair, her eyes wild. I tried to fight back, but I was shaking, the world spinning, as I hit the ground. She grabbed my head by my hair and bashed it 3 times against the cement, making me go woozy and half unconscious. Teachers pulled her off, their voices a fading blur. I had a severe concussion, but I recovered. Her attack could have been handled a few different ways, but in the end, Claire was sent to juvenile detention. I pressed charges, requesting police help, not just the school administration. Claire had stifled my life for years and possibly, depending on how you saw things, even tried to take it. I was tired of being silent. I asked for police intervention. Dad and Stephanie showed up at Marianne's house soon after, their faces tired. "She's your sister," Stephanie cooed, voice syrupy. "Drop the charges for family's sake." Family. Is that what they called it? I looked at Dad, waiting for him to say something, to defend me, to say he was sorry. He said nothing. "No," I folded my arms. "I'm not dropping the charges." Stephanie's face twisted, but she didn't say anything else as they left. My senior year was quiet. Most nights I studied late at the kitchen table while Marianne hummed softly or played quiet music as she knitted, tea steaming beside each of us. At school, with Claire gone, mostly people ignored me, and I was happy to just be by myself. In the second half of the school year, I got my acceptance letter to college. I stared at it until the words blurred, clutching it to my chest, whispering, "I did it, Mom." Graduation day was warm and bright. I wore a thrifted white dress under my gown, and Marianne sat in the front row, her eyes shining with tears. When they called my name, I walked across the stage, held my diploma, the cheers in the audience blending into a soft roar. Dad wasn't there, but Marianne was, and that was enough. Dad never called, never texted, never came to say goodbye. As I packed my bags for college, folding Mom's quilt carefully, I looked around Mary Ann's house, the soft blue walls, the plants in the windows, the photos on the fridge. I wasn't coming back. I stepped outside, the sky clear and open, the summer breeze warm against my skin. "I made it, Mom," I whispered. And for the first time in as long as I could remember, I looked forward to my future, and I felt free. Thank you for joining me for this story. If you enjoyed this reading, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss future uploads. This has been Tales by Rachel, where we breathe life into every story.